What is up? Nothing less fan base. It's Alexis coming from work. And we haven't dropped an episode or anything in a minute. I mean, it's the holidays. What do you expect? Um, yeah, but we'll break down a little bit of things today. We'll talk about everything. Before anything, hopefully y'all like, share, and subscribe on our YouTube channel. And then also like our Facebook page and all that, and give us just the likes and all that stuff. We appreciate it. It helps us tremendously, of course. Now I'm going to talk about these games because these games are big games. It's the last game of the regular season. Most of these games mean so much. And when we talk about, like, for example, Buffalo, Miami, we talk about Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Dallas, New York Giants. You have those at the 12 o'clock, right? Some of those games mean a lot for the 325 game, and it's gonna get insane. Like this video, what we're doing here, we're just gonna break down the games, not so crazy. It's gonna be just digestible information that's being thrown at you, something simple so y'all could understand what I'm giving y'all before tomorrow or when y'all get it then Sunday morning. And from there, we'll see. We'll go from there. As we look at the AFC, we'll start with that because they have majority of the early games. Kansas City's a sure lock, number one. That's no problem. Number two is Buffalo. Pittsburgh's number three. You got Tennessee at number four. So obviously the top four are divisional winners. Number one gets the bye. Everyone else has to play in wild card weekend. So when we get to the five, 6, and the 7, it gets a little more interesting as far as just the vulnerability of them maneuvering out of the playoffs and getting switched out for another team. That one team is the Indianapolis Colts. So that's going to be interesting. So when we mentioned the 5th seed, which is Miami, you got the 6th seed Baltimore, and you got the 7th seed Cleveland. I have to mention Tennessee as the 4th because all those teams are 10-5. It's a key thing in all this because what really falters in ways is these 3 out of 4 teams, which would be Miami, Baltimore, Cleveland, all just need a win and they're in. Their positions stay the same, and that's how it's going to stay. But the thing is, where one team loses, you have Indianapolis reeling in if they get the dub. So you're seeing a lot of moving parts. And I mean, who knows? You know, I think for example, if Miami wins and Baltimore loses, then you move Miami up to play. You keep Miami there at the 5th spot. But yeah, it's gonna get insane. First game to break down would be Miami versus Buffalo. Like I mentioned, Miami is in a win now situation. They need to win this game, make the playoffs, and that's it. Buffalo could relax. They have to bench their players, which I think they're gonna rest players. But, I mean, Buffalo is a good team, a healthy team at this point of the season, not like how they were the first 5 weeks where people were questioning just how well they can play defensively and offensively. Can they stand against the Chiefs? Now the conversation really switched to, are the Chiefs ready for Buffalo since Buffalo's riding high? So when we go with that, Miami needs to win. They have 5 players that are questionable, and that's fine. I mean, Devontae Parker, Shaq Lawson, Solomon Kindley, and Jakeem Grant, which most of these players are pretty big. You hope they play just so they could make it really, make it confidence. We could give confidence to the team as you yourself to make this game, like give you a reason to go in as the 5th seed, play the Titans, and make some noise in the playoffs. So with that being said, Buffalo they have 2 other tight ends out and also Cole Beasley. I think it's more for the rest period. Like I said, I heard Josh Allen might be resting, but I'm not sure about that right now. But this game, I mean, could go either way as far as can Miami just really muscle up and make the plays that they need to get in the playoffs, just to, hunker it down, not worry about anything, or is Buffalo going to just send all the goons and cause some real issues? But, I mean, again, a lot of crazy things have happened. Like, for example, the Jets have beat the Browns, which puts the Browns in a predicament to, if they would have won that game, they're sure locked. But for the fact that they lost because they didn't have their starting 4 receivers, and also I think they didn't have linebackers, it caused a lot of issues. So who knows? I mean, I really hope Miami makes it because I think Miami's in the dark horse to really cause some fits in the playoffs. I don't care what people say about Tua. I know Fitzmagic is out with COVID. I think Tua's gonna shock people, and I think they're gonna let him a little loose to this game. So, but if I didn't say, I got Miami winning the game. It should be honestly a blowout, but crazier things have happened, so it could be a close game. But Miami's gonna win this game. I don't have an issue with saying that. Next game that has a little bit of value to it, you know, Pittsburgh, Cleveland. Pittsburgh resting some starters. So who gets a start? Mason Rudolph, Myles Garrett. There's beef. Myles Garrett whooped Mason Rudolph with his own helmet because of supposedly a racial slur that hasn't been confirmed yet, but that's still a lot of tension that's going to happen. He's going back to Cleveland and see how nasty it's going to get. But this should be a blowout because Cleveland should demolish the Pittsburgh team that hasn't been playing good like the last 6 weeks since their undefeated season was taken away from them. And also, I mean, it's just Mason Rudolph hasn't played good, and their defense is right now is in the rest period. They need to get ready for the playoffs. So, I mean, just not much to talk about as far as that. But Baker Mayfield needs to show out. I feel he needs to give himself a lot of confidence because he's been playing more of a game manager role, which is fine. How they've been playing pretty good. And if they don't make the playoffs, I feel like this is a disappointing year. Yes, it's their first winning season in a minute, but you want to make the playoffs because it'll be your first playoff appearance in 17 years. So if that's not the mentality going into this game, fuck all the noise with all the Pittsburgh Mason Rudolph and Myles Garrett beef. You need to win this game. You can't just start thinking about all that. But as we look at the game, I mean, they have it as a 50, pretty much like a 55-44 matchup, which to me is kind of interesting with Pittsburgh winning. But I get it, I guess. But like how I mentioned, you have 4 defensive players for Pittsburgh out, which I'm sure they're resting. And you have Marcus Pouncey, their center, veteran center. He's resting as well. But if you look at the Cleveland, you got Tay Davis, the linebacker, Wyatt Teller, Kendall Lamb. Notable names as far as if you're a fan. They're questionable. More than sure they're going to play. They have a couple players out, but not a big deal. I'm sure they're going to just start everyone, give them the whooping, and dip out, But like I said, I think you got to really think that Cleveland's going to win this game, which I think they will, and they will make the playoffs. And let's get into the next game, which I think is. Now, I mentioned this game for reasons that make it a little more interesting. It's for Tennessee-Houston. It's a 325 game, and I think Houston is a 4-11 team. J.J. Watt gave an inspirational speech. So why wouldn't they just flip it for one game, right? Last game of the season. Cause some fucking issues, Tennessee needs to win the game. I mean, they have the easier schedule. They're the number 4. All they need is Miami to lose and Baltimore to lose, and they're in for sure. But let's say they both win. Baltimore's playing the Cincinnati team. They should rout them. No Joe Burrow, no problem, I feel. So you look at Tennessee. Tennessee is going up against Deshaun Watson. This team, like I mentioned, J.J. Watt gave an inspirational damn speech to the fans. So where are they gonna land in this? Because you go that game. That's what's simultaneous to that. You got Jacksonville versus Indianapolis. Come on. Indianapolis needs to win that game, and I think they're going to rout the Jaguars. So, do you think, can Tennessee make the playoffs? And, I don't know. I mean, you look at the game, it looks interesting, I'll be honest, because they got it 60-40 in ways Tennessee winning the game. That could be true. I just think Texas are going to play a lot. They're going to play lights out. Not maybe keep it close. Not necessarily they're going to dominate, but lights out as far as because of that speech. So you put that all together, and Tennessee hasn't been looking so good the past few weeks. Derrick Henry's been locked up a little bit the past few weeks. Now the Texans team is kind of on defense, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I think it's not even about the talent. It's more of that energy that J.J. Watt is giving that's going to push this Tennessee Titans team to the edge. I could be wrong, and most likely I am wrong. Don't take my word for it, but just understand that's a key factor, he doesn't want to get bullied anymore, and he might want to leave the Texans, but he's not leaving on a soft note. So the AFC has been broken down. Now you got the NFC. This week is gonna be insane. I don't think y'all understand. So the number one seed, still not sure. You got the number 2 and the 3, also could be flip-flopping. You're not even sure for that. The only fucking seed that's locked up is the Bucks, and they've had one of the more flip-flop years with a 10-5 record. You wouldn't think that, but yes. The 4 seed is 6-9 Washington football team at the moment, because they're gonna wait until the Dallas and Giants game ends, and from there we'll play it out. Because the Giants are 5-10. Yes, they're still in it. The Giants need to beat Dallas, and they need Washington to lose, so the Giants would get in. Dallas, they win, and Washington loses, they're in. If Washington wins, they're in. That's all it is. It gets a little more trickier for the last 3, which would be the 6th seed, 7th seed, and 6th seed. Yeah. So you got the 6th seed, 7th seed, and the 8th seed, which would be Arizona at the 8th, the Bears are the 7th, and you got the 6th seed in the Rams. So it becomes tricky because most of these are just projected seeds, so they're not for sure yet because they're not locked in. So you got Chicago playing Green Bay. If Chicago wins, they're in the playoffs. If they lose, they give the chance to Arizona that plays against the Rams. So if Arizona wins, they're in. And from there, that will lock in the Rams. But if the Rams lose and the Bears win, then the Bears and the Cardinals make the playoffs. Does that make any sense? It's going to get very, very tricky. I don't know. But right now, I'm going to break it down for y'all. It's going to be simple. Like I said, digestible, just everything. Everything's going to be on the screen. Y'all be seeing it. And let's see what we got. First game we're going to break down, which was mentioned earlier, is the 6-9 Dallas Cowboys going up against the 5-10 New York Giants. They have the predictor on ESPN going Giants to win 60%. I'm not sure how I feel about it. Reason being is they have a banged up O-line, and the Cowboys are concerned, which I get it, but Daniel Jones has not been playing good since his calf got hurt, and the defense right now is kind of iffy. But I understand what they're doing here. Like, I understand that defense that the Giants have been playing with is better. It's playing a little more solid. You know, Logan Ryan just got his extension, you know, all that shit. But I think this game is going to be more or less Andy Dalton. The train is already churning right now. It's going. And this offense is going crazy. And I think Dallas wins this game. It should be a close game. These games are usually close. And I think Dallas punches their 7-9 and waits till 7 p.m. to see what happens there. But I think you want to take out of all this is New York had a really bad start to the year. 1-7, went 5-7, lost the last 2 games, put themselves in position to be in this situation. But I think next year this team is going to be an issue. And I mean, no one expected it, including myself. I didn't put them to be in this kind of a high value game. But Dallas, has faced adversity all year with just injuries galore and just mishaps. I guess we'll say that. But this game is going to be Dallas winning a close game. I'm just waiting for Washington against the Eagles. See what happens next game on the slate. 3:25. Bears, Packers, they're playing in Lambeau. It's going to be a must-win for both, if you're asking me. You got the Bears need to win this game to make the playoffs. Packers need a win to get the first round bye. What's going to budge there? David Bakhtiari's out for the year. Their left tackle, the Packers left tackle. The Packers have been playing crazy, but that's not to say that the Bears haven't. The Packers Super Bowl odds have gone up exponentially, so see what happens here. I mean, do you play the starters against this team? You don't really need to play, that's kind of what I wondered, and I thought they wouldn't, but my Chicago Bears correspondents think they will, so that'll be something to keep an eye on. And I don't know, man, I just think what I think about the Bears is that the Bears have been playing pretty good. Mitch Trubisky's been playing better football. Matt Nagy's been calling better plays. David Montgomery's finally catching just consistent running. But then you go Green Bay. Green Bay's the same way, you know. Zadarius Smith already got his 12th sack, 12 and a half sacks, I think, throughout the year. They're getting more turnovers. Darnell Savage is playing better. So what's gonna play out there? That one's gonna be a good one. I think the Packers should win, but that doesn't mean the Bears are gonna be out, But who knows, right? Who knows? Packers win 27-13. No, 27-17. These next two games we're going to talk about are the ones that are going to round out the NFC. But we still got an important game on our hands. 3:25 game. We got the Cardinals 8-7, Rams 9-6. It's going to be a bloodbath as far as you ask me. The Rams have a great defense. They don't have a quarterback. Jared Goff broke his thumb. He's out for the year if they don't make the playoffs. Cardinals are playing with a banged up Kyler Murray. Their defense has been giving up solid amount of yards and points. So, how does this play out? I think you got to give it to the Rams. The Cardinals. I think you got to give it to the Cardinals just because Jared Goff's not going to be playing. So they're going to have their starter is Jared Walford. If I'm name's John Walford. I wanted to call him Jared so bad, but yeah, he's going to start his career, and I want to see how it goes. He loves, according to Sean McVay, he really loves this guy. Hopefully he does good. Hopefully it makes this game a little more interesting. But like I mentioned, the Cardinals need a win, and they're in. But I guess to assure everything, they need a win and Chicago to lose. The Rams just need a win and they're in. But if the Rams lose and the Cardinals and the Bears win, if I'm not mistaken, the Rams should be out. So that's going to be some sort of a travesty amongst the Los Angeles community for that one. Cardinals have been playing pretty inconsistent, if you ask me, ever since the Hail Murray. Everyone knows that. Kyler Murray, like I said, he's banged up. So what do you expect here? I think you get a lot of doses of the running the ball. I think you're going to get a lot of Kenyon Drake and Edwards. And I think the 1-2 punch is going to be an issue. But, I mean, who knows? Because this pass and rush defense for the Rams is pretty solid. Their front four is pretty good. Obviously, you don't gotta mention that. You got Aaron Donald and you got Michael Brockers, and you have a resurgence of Floyd, from the Bears. So this game could go back and forth. But like I said, I think the Cardinals should win. Just the lack of experience that John Walford has, and I think Kyler Murray's gonna have to hold the fort down for Arizona, and I think they win big. I think they win 35-16, and I think that should solidify them in the playoffs. The Bears should be in the playoffs, the Cardinals should be in the playoffs, and the Rams are booted out. If I'm right, but if I'm not, then it just makes more sense like that. The tiebreakers and all that. So who knows for that. The last game, and it's the last game of the year, or regular season. You got Washington football team, 6-9, 4-10-1, Philadelphia Eagles. If Alex Smith plays, the football team should win. If he doesn't, it's gonna get interesting. But I mean, Philadelphia they don't have players, man. They don't have players. Their bodies are out. But Jalen Hurts has given them a lot of life, so that can make the game a little more interesting. But I think if Alex Smith starts and just plays good enough ball, he doesn't turn the ball over. And let's be honest. So if he does that, they should win 27. I think they'll put up points, 27-23. It's gonna be a close game because I just think the Eagles they just don't give up. That's not gonna happen. But I think he should play. He said he's promising to play. He's pretty sure. But they have a couple players out, But Thomas Davis, obviously former Panther, he's out. But Antonio Gibson, the standout running back, and Terry McLaurin as well. They're questionable to play, but they'll be good. But like if y'all just need a little more insight on the Eagles, the ones that are out, you got Derek Barnett and Fletcher Cox out. Injured reserve. Obviously, I don't need to mention that, but just FYI. And these teams, they don't put up a lot of points, so it's gonna be a bloodbath amongst the front four for both teams. But like I mentioned, the Washington football team should win. Alex Smith, comeback player of the year. He needs it. And the NFC East is going to play the Bucks, for the Washington football team plays the Bucks. But if y'all like this type of content, even here, because I could do it, let me know. Put it down below. Put it down below there. Say it on the Facebook page. We can do all that, and I'll bring not my equipment, but I'll bring little things here so I can talk to y'all, and we could break down stuff. The playoffs, we should have a little playoff special for the podcast when it all happens, and we'll have that set up. Hopefully I can have some guests on, and we'll have a full-fledged conversation, not just me and Dave, but who knows. But till then, I'm Alexis, host for the Nothing Less podcast, also member of the YouTube channel. Like, share, subscribe. I'm new to that, I can't say it. And also follow the Facebook page.